Everyone here at one point has either mowed a lawn or passed a lawn that has just been cut during summer, right? You can all remember the distinct smell that results from cutting the grass. That smell is actually a chemical warning of the grass blades, warning the rest of the plants in the area that there is danger nearby. It's basically it's too late for us, go save yourselves. Over the recent years, more and more plant neurologists have explored the theory that plants have a consciousness and may even be able to think. I've researched many different papers and theories laid out by biologists and plant neurologists about the criticism of this theory and experiments done to prove it. The intelligence of a plant have been tested based on their behaviors, their communication skills, and their possible consciousness. To begin, what defines the intelligence of a plant is far different than the intelligence of humans or animals. Scientists proclaim their intelligence comes from the use of information taken in from their senses and the odd behaviors they show as a result. Their odd behaviors are results of their larger scale senses. Plants have the 5 main senses that we have, and up to 15 more, including the sense of water, toxins, salt, volume, gravity, pain, and hearing. According to Michael Pollan, the publisher of The Intelligent Plant, an experiment was done where a recording of a caterpillar munching on leaves of another plant was taken and played for another plant. The experimental plant heard the munching and immediately activated its defense mechanism through chemical vapors to ward off enemies. If you look on the slideshow that I sent, slide 1 will show a video of the plant sending out its toxins, and its vapors. One of the more important senses would be pain. Since an organism would need a sort of brain system to process pain, Pollan also explained that it was found that plants respond to anesthetics like humans and produce their own when they are injured. If a plant needs anesthetics, then it feels pain, and therefore it has a consciousness. However, many biologists are criticized with this justification. No brain, no pain. The behaviors of plants are odd to us because we see them as slow and hard to detect, but plants have to respond fast to the information they absorb. In order to prove the consciousness, scientists must prove that the plants have behaved through the processing of the senses they have. According to Robert Lanza, the Biocentrum, neurobiologists discovered from the Dorisa plant, or the sundew plant, that they can process information through natural nets, and therefore are able to snatch a fly out of the air better than we can with a fly swatter. Another factor discovered by neurobiologists is that a plant is able to sleep. The Mimosa pudica will curl its leaves at night and reduce its movement, almost like it's sleeping. During the day, the leaves unfurl, and even though the movement is slow, there's a lot more than would be at night. Another sign of consciousness or intelligence of the plant organism is its communication capabilities. And they communicate much differently than animals or humans do. Communication is always key to survival in the wild. Plants have their own way to do so. Starting with an experiment done by Cornell scientists, they observed that when a plant can sense ants coming towards it to take its nectar or possibly eat its leaves, the plant will put up defense mechanisms as well as shoot out a scent in form of a vapor, so that the warning goes to all the surrounding plants, and all those plants could prepare their own defenses as well. Also, pollination as well is known as a key figure in plant reproduction. According to Stefano Mucenseo, a founder of the study of plant neurobiology, states that some plants are manipulating animals, like in the case of orchids, that promise sex and nectar and give in exchange nothing for transportation of the pollen. Also, Michael Pollan described another experiment done on the plant communication through networking of the roots. Fir trees are all connected through a type of networking held together by mycelium and fungi. So, scientists put radioactive isotopes into a tree and tracked the path of the isotopes with a Geiger tracker. They found that all the trees were connected through their fungi and their mycelium. They communicated warnings and even passed nutrients to each other, and were able to pass nutrients to other species of trees, such as birch. Through reviewing all the behaviors and capabilities of the plants that create the theory, scientists are now trying to figure out where the plant's brain is. Since plants can respond to water, light, gravity, temperature, etc., there is evidence of a brain function. The question is, how does all this information from the senses being processed and the responses being sent out? Stefano Mancuso suggests that the central processing area is found in the root apex. If you look on slide 3, it will kind of give you a visual of what the root apex looks like. He explains that the root apex has a specific region that is here. It is called the transition zone. This area has the highest levels of oxygen in the plant, and the average plant has 14 million roots and 11.5 million root apexes. So, this acts almost as if it was an internet network system, sending out information to all the various areas. Michael Pollan suggests that somewhere in the plant there is neurotransmitters that send signals. According to Robert Lanza, many critics believe that plants don't think, they just process the information, and there's no actual consciousness such as we would comprehend it. Now, with that theory, some scientists believe that we are using the wrong words to describe the plant's capabilities because it's hard to determine intelligence without a brain. The consciousness of the plant cannot be passed over and forgotten easily, however, because the plant's ability to learn and remember have been proven. Michael Pollan describes an experiment done through animal ecologist Monica Gagliano. The mimosa plant, also known as the sensitive plant, has leaves that collapse through stimulus that stresses the plant. On my slideshow on slide 4, it shows a little visual of what the sensitive plant does when you touch it. Monica had a contraption that would drop the sensitive plant using the leaves, causing the leaves to collapse as a reaction. By the 4th or 5th time, the plant stopped reacting and learned to tune out the stimulus as if it didn't matter at all. After 4 weeks of doing this, the plants had learned their lesson. So she would do this maybe once or twice a week, and every time she came back, the plants would not respond to the stimulus because they learned that they're going to be saved and it's going to be fine. So thus, this proved that plants retain the information for long periods of time. This experiment went on for 1 month, and then she stopped doing it. She could have kept going, but it proved also that plants have better memory than bees, an actual animal. Bees can only withhold information up to 48 hours. Another scientist named Baxter had 2 plants and another experiment that killed one of the plants by stomping on it. After a day, Baxter had held up the plant to a line of 6 men, and when the plant was held up to the murderer, the plant emitted electromagnetic signals proving that it had remembered the murderer of the other plant. However, this experiment has not been repeated, so it's not fully valid. The question remains to be studied and experimented on. But, do plants think? Do plants have consciousness? In conclusion, though the various behaviors, senses, and capabilities of a plant is becoming more and more possible that plants are in fact intelligent. Much of the information is still up to debate, and many scientists still discredit the theory, but it may be possible that the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom have more similarities. Thanks for listening.